Hello and welcome everybody to another Arena Direct event. I'm Paul Cheon, and today we are going to try to win some more booster boxes of Lorwyn Eclipsed. We were successful in procuring ourselves one box in yesterday's video, and so hopefully we can make it 2 boxes. But like I mentioned before, there is a high degree of variance in these, and so sometimes you flame out and you don't even get to 3 wins. That happened to me a lot during the collector booster box win event. But hopefully we open some awesome stuff. Now, before we hop in, I did want to say that this video is brought to you by TCGplayer.com. Go to TCGplayer.com for all your Magic the Gathering singles and sealed product needs. If you want to buy a booster box here of Lorwyn Eclipsed, or you wanted some singles for your constructed decks, make sure you hit that affiliate link in the description below before making any purchases. Also, go to heavyplay.com for premium Magic the Gathering supplies and accessories. If you want top-of-the-line deck boxes, playmats, sleeves, dice boxes, everything you need to make sure you're fully ready to go for your next tabletop gaming experience, go to heavyplay.com/paulcheon for 10% off your first order. They're also basically every Magic the Gathering convention. Swing by their booth, tell them Paul sent you for 10% off in person as well. Alrighty, what we got? Okay, so we got a Tristan here, which if you have like a nice elf shell, obviously in any green deck it's going to be fine. Bridget's Command is quite strong. Not the biggest fan of Winnowing, and I don't like these Boros rares either, Kirol and Catharsis. It's just like, these cards are just not good unless, I mean, especially Catharsis, it's just not good unless you can go white and red, and that's just not something that you do in sealed deck very often. There is a Flitterwing, Nuisance, and Champions of the Shoal, so perhaps there is a base for a Merfolk deck, but of course, we're going to have to see what the rest of the packs give us here. So, taking a look at white, that's some Kithkin, there's a Preacher, Flock Imposter, Meander's Guide, Vaulter, so certainly some, filler level Merfolk. For blue, we have the Nuisance, Scoundrel, yeah, Mentor is good. Raimkin Recluse, Champions of the Shoal, okay. Does feel like we're going to need to lean pretty heavily on Changelings and such to make it so that the Merfolk package actually works. Taking a look at our black here, a couple of Vile Boggarts, Requiting Hex. Okay, black looks kind of... Oh, there's some removal here, though. Boxleather's Embrace, Nameless Inversion, and Blightrot. Okay. Going into our red here, we have Explosive Prodigy. And not much else. There is a couple of Tweezes and a Flamekin Guildweaver. All right, moving on over to our blue. We have Blossoming Defense, Triple Assert Perfection. That's pretty good. Tristan, of course. So some elf stuff. But I don't think we opened any black elves. We actually just got a Nameless Inversion. That's it. So don't know that we're going to be leaning into the elf stuff. 2 Marrow Sky Swimmers, which can be quite nice. Sneakling, couple of elementals here, and the Flaring Cinder and the Twin Flame Traveler. All right, this looks like, I will say, it feels like it's on the weaker side of what we could have opened, but you know what? I'm going to sort this and see if we can put something together. Just noting that we have a Changeling Wayfinder and an Evolving Wilds for potential splashes. But the double Sky Swimmer, I mean, maybe there is something in Merfolk that we can do here. All right. Yeah, I mean, this pool does not necessarily feel like it's the strongest. Like, I don't think I have a Kithkin base here. I have a Bridget's Command, but I literally... What's our Kithkin count even? 5? So, I don't think the Gallant and Foul Knight Kithkin deck is something that we're doing. So, white certainly doesn't seem super deep. So then Kinsbill Aspirant also becomes bad. And then all of a sudden, we're like... We don't really have a whole lot going on here in white. I mean, I only see 7 playable cards, and I mean, that's kind of a stretch here with the Celebrant and Nomad. So the only reason to go into blue and white is because I have the Marrow Sky Swimmers. There's also, my best cards are Champions of the Shoal and also the Flitterwing Nuisance, right? Along with Tristan, but this is fine, but less good if you don't have the elves. So white gives us access to like 2 Merfolk and a Changeling, but I suppose there is a world where I can play Champions of the Shoal in a different color combination, assuming I can pick up enough Changelings, but we actually don't even have that many Changelings. We have what? Our Shapeshifter count's only at 4, which is not great. So we have the Wayfinder, Mischievous Sneakling, and... Oh, and then there's also the Sizzling Changeling. I mean, I will say, looking at my red, it is deep. Somewhat, right? I guess I'm starting to, but I have like 2 Tweezes, an Explosive Prodigy, which is a decent card. Um, and I get Twin Flame Travelers with double Flaring Cinders, so maybe there's something there. The upside of going, for example, a blue-white deck, however, is the fact that if I go blue-white, I can potentially splash green for like Bridget's Command or something along those lines. Green is actually not terrible, only because I have access to Pitiless Fist, Triple Assert Perfection, and Blossoming Defense. But I will note that it's not super deep when it comes to my creatures, right? Like I have just a Tristan and an Unforgiving 8. Tristan and I mean it's basically just Tristan, so it's like green just actually gives me all the spells and removal. I need to find a color that actually gives me a bunch of creatures. Black looks pretty weak, other than just it having some interaction. Like, I just don't feel like I have enough here to put together a Goblins deck. And if I don't, then the only reason to splash black would be for removal. But if that's the case, then green might be better at that, just because it gives you access to Pitiless Fists, which I think is stronger than some of these black removal spells. So we're going to throw the black cards out of there. Eclipse Boggart is also not going to make it in. Now, Catharsis. Is there a world where I can play both colors? The only way I can do that is if I play something like Eclipse Realm and then go like blue-red and perhaps also look to splash white. But again, my white is super duper weak. All right, I don't love it, but I think my first plan here is to just, I think I'm just going to try to go blue-white here just because I want to lean into kind of this Merfolk package that I have. Silver Guild Mentor is obviously very good if you have enough Merfolk. There's Champions of the Shoal here as well. Certainly blue is my best color. I also have Raimkin Recluse, so no matter what, I will end up playing blue. And then it's just a matter of, you know, like what I want to pair this with. I just feel like if I go straight 2 colors, I'm just not going to have enough playable cards. But we'll see. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to try to put together a blue-red deck first that still has some Merfolk. I think there's a little more upside. Let's see what we got. So this is what a blue-red deck. So when I had the blue-red deck laid out, I felt like 2 Tweez was just not enough interaction. So I am thinking I might need to splash green just for more removal, which is why I have the Assert Perfections here with the Pitiless Fists. So this gives me access to 4 more removal spells. So now, I mean, this looks like a better spread here. I can maybe cut one of the Assert Perfections just because it's on the splash. 2 Forest, Evolving Wilds, Changeling Wayfinder gives me 4 green sources. And then I also have a Flamekin Guildweaver, which can potentially allow me to also splash green here. Now, noting that obviously we have some of these Merfolk cards. Gravelgill Scoundrel is certainly not at its best here. I don't have anything that cares about tapping other than Champions of the Shoal, but it does let us. It just lets us hit that critical mass of Merfolk. Now, again, this isn't great. We got 5 Merfolk and 3 Shapeshifters. Okay, so it's not wonderful, but that's kind of what we have here. So I have to obviously play cards like the Mischievous Sneakling here. I do like all of my 3s. I like all my 4s. Like the quality of my creatures is generally pretty decent, right? And then we also just have like a pretty nice spread here of spells too. So this actually looks okay. It's not blowing anybody out of the water here for sure, but it still like looks like a playable collection of cards. Can certainly cut Flame Chain Mauler. I have like no elemental synergies really. Twin Flame Travelers is just like a flyer that triggers Guildweaver and also actually triggers the Raimkin Recluse and Flaring Cinder. Oh, also Explosive Prodigy. Never mind. It does a lot more than I thought. And then I can play Gristle Glutton here if I want another 2-drop, and maybe I shave down on a Assert Perfection. Like certainly this is a good card, but it's on the splash, and so you know we have to limit. I think just like limiting the splash seems fine, and I do like the, you know, obviously this is something that you want to play in like a Goblins deck, but it does feel like this might do some work at helping us smooth out our draws. But I can certainly see Gristle Glutton being the card that I cut here. Actually, yeah, I think I'm just gonna cut it. I think I'm just gonna play all the removal. There's also Tristan on the splash, but that's a little bit less exciting. Because, like, what happens when you play a turn 5 Tristan? Not much, right? All right, so this is one direction. It lets me play, like, Flaring Cinders and Guildweavers and Prodigy, but let's also take a look at what a blue-white deck looks like, splashing green, because that also lets me splash potentially Bridget's Command, which works well with Changelings and such. So this is a blue-white deck. I don't think I want to play the Carol, too hard to cast. With a potential splash of green, I have to deep... the mana for this is significantly worse. I have to dive a lot deeper into the green color here and play Tristan to even make my color, my playable situation work. Wary Farmer is fine, but also this deck just has more Merfolk, so 8 Merfolk plus 3 Shapeshifters. So certainly does mean that my Mentor and my Champions of the Shoal are better, but it's not like I'm playing a bunch of high quality cards here. Burden Stoneback is a fine 2-drop. Meander's Guide is also kind of medium. Vaulter is pretty decent. Flocking Pastor can be fine. This does let me play Bridget's Command, which is just another removal spell, but it's better than Assert Perfection, right? You cast this and it's +3/+3 and fight, which is obviously a very, very strong card. So that would be the reason to play blue-white splash green, mostly for the Bridget's Command, but my mana would be a lot worse. And I feel like this deck also has less card flow. And I feel like in sealed deck, you really need card advantage engines. And if I play red, I get access to double Tweeze. Changeling is a 2-for-1, and the Flaring Cinder also helps smooth out my draws. And I think that's going to be overall better to allow me to continue digging through my deck and find what I need. So while I do think the blue-white deck is fine, I only really have Unexpected Assistance as a way to kind of go through all the cards in my deck. I'd rather go with the red deck because I think it's more consistent with, cycling through all the cards that I need. So let's go back to blue-red. All right. I think to make my mana a little bit better, yeah, I will go back to just playing 2 Assert Perfections and a Pitiless Fist. I think these are like necessary evils just to have some access to some removal, but we don't want to go overboard on this. And 2 Forests and an Evolving Wilds gives us 3 green sources plus the Wayfinder. So if we draw this in the late game, I mean, often, like, our creatures are also not huge. So oftentimes this will probably deal like 3 or 4 damage. And, sometimes you need an effect like that, but I just don't want to tax my mana as much. And I think this looks like a deck that actually has a really good mana curve. So I'm just going to play Flamechain Mauler because I feel like there are games where I can certainly just curve out and beat people down. So I think this is just like a nice deck with card flow, lots of rummaging, some evasion, not the most number of Merfolk, so I have to be mindful of that. But I'm going to give this a whirl. This is not the best deck by any means, but we make the most out of what we have given to us. Hold on. I just had a moment here. I've decided, actually, I don't think I want to do the green. So one of my biggest issues, is like I'm just lacking in Merfolk, right? With Champions of the Shoal and Silver Guild Mentor. Well, Nameless Inversion is a changeling and a good removal spell. So I think instead I'm going to choose to splash the black for the removal here. And this gives me access to basically Merfolk number 9 and, still gives me access to like decent removal spells anyways. And the Boxliz's Embrace is unconditional removal. So why don't we try that? This just gives me... I think it's like comparable, right? The removal spells are comparable, except black gives me access to another Merfolk, which I think actually matters here. So, all right, yeah. A little bit of a last-second switch there, but I think it actually works. All right, now before round 1 starts, I did want to say that if you've been enjoying all this content and wanted to support the channel in another way, my Patreon is the best way to do so. That's patreon.com/paulcheon. Big shout out to all the patrons. Thank you so much for your support. Access to the Patreon gives you access to my Discord channel, along with a variety of other benefits, including monthly videos that I make for the Patreon and also monthly streams. So if you're serious about taking your game to the next level, check it out. All right, gonna keep this hand here. 3 lands, Mischievous Sneakling, Flaring Cinder, and a pair of Marrow Sky Swimmers. Just a totally fine curve out draw here. 1 drop, Virulent Emissary. Okay. Here's my question. Do I trade Sneakling for the Emissary? I kind of want to. Wow. Look at this. We got a professional Magic player here, folks. They played around the Mischievous Sneakling. All right, there's the Blight Rot. Next turn, we can play the Sky Swimmer. It's a Wary Farmer, sure. They are not interested in trading there. What do I want to do this turn? I mean, it's certainly play the Marrow Sky Swimmer. I think I'm just going to discard the Blight Rot here. That is a Champions of the Shoal. All right. Well, that's obviously fantastic. And am I interested in attacking with Flaring Cinder now? They do have Wary Farmer, and I do not mind that trade. And are we winning the life total race here? The thing is, my hand is good, and I don't really care about rummaging anything right now. So let's just get some damage in, because I feel like the Champions of the Shoal is going to be pretty important here, with just allowing us to, you know, race our opponent in some way. Well, Wary Farmer still doesn't attack, so... Okay, fair enough. Oh my gosh, that is a Rhymekin Recluse. Okay. I mean, certainly I am going to play Champions of the Shoal this turn. The question is just like, what do I want to do here? There's just so many insane plays. Because I can also, when this becomes tapped, so I can tap two things. Now, I don't attack this turn. But I guess I can attack with the Flyer. So we play this. We'll behold the Sizzling Changeling. Discard nothing. So we will use this to lock down Miss Meadow Council. Then we'll do this. We will now tap down Wary Farmer. Decline. Alright. that was a good turn, I'm just gonna say. If they have a bite spell or a removal spell, they're going to have to kill the Champions of the Shoal for sure. But, I mean, we still got to lock down two things for a turn, and we get an absolutely ridiculous attack here. Which is, oh my gosh! Flittering Nuisance on this board? Are you kidding me? I'm about to draw 70,000 cards. Alright, just 5. It's just 5 cards. Oh my gosh, what a draw. Alright, so gonna hit a land drop here, I'm gonna say, most likely. Alright, we got the land. Hit the swamp. And that's an Explosive Prodigy, which would actually be for 4. So that's, of course, great. Life totals are 20 to 9. Ooh, Abigail is a good one. So now Miss Meadow Council gets to attack. We will take the 4. And they did pass for turn. Okay. Fair enough. But we get to go Twin Flame Travelers into Explosive Prodigy. And which one do I want to kill here? Let's kill the 3/3. Oh, man. Okay. I am glad I went blue-red. And you know what? Everything worked out. That was an incredible draw. And if we keep drawing like that, I feel like we might have a good shot. But I feel like that was the top end of what our deck is capable of. We just drew all the rares. We had Prodigy for 4 with the Twin Flame Travelers, copying it. I mean, we kind of lived every dream there. All right, on the play. Oh my goodness, I'm going to keep this too. Turn 2 Silvergill Mentor into Champions of the Shoal. It's like just, who needs the other colors, you know what I mean? I would rather have showcased any other Merfolk, but it is what it is. Deep Channel. What the? Constructed? Turn 1 1-drop into turn 2 Deep Channel Duelist. Fair enough. Play Flaring Cinder. And I will pitch Box Slither's Embrace. Of course, I immediately draw a Black Source. But, like, I want to dig deeper, and Box Slither's Embrace is just so difficult to cast. I didn't want to do that, you know what I mean? So now we get to play this. We'll go Champions of the Shoal. Behold this one. Discard Island. And what do I want to lock down? What's this? Do I want to attack with Flaring Cinder? Will they trade with the Wanderbrine Trapper? Alright, good. I wasn't sure if they were going to. Of course, this isn't great if they kill my Champions of the Shoal, because then they can hit me for 5. So perhaps that was a little bit greedy. Tanafel Rhyme Speaker. Okay, that's a good card, but... Alright, so we hit Changeling Wayfinder. I can use that to get a mountain. And then 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3, 4... And then I can put Lofty Dreams on the Champions of the Shoal, I guess. Like, can we just... Should we just go all in on Champions of the Shoal? Like, if they had a removal spell, they might have just used it here, right? Maybe that's not good. 4, 6... Okay. What do I want to tap down here? Well, we got the Rummage and we drew a card, but we drew a bunch of lands. Sadness. We got Crypt swapped. All right. Maybe that was a little too all-in. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, we're going to need to draw more action here to... All right, that was really good. So let's go Flaring... Actually, I'm going to go... I'm going to leave up black in case I draw Nameless Inversion. Okay. Alright. So, gonna keep these lands. We have a lot of rummaging to do. Like I said, I could have put the Lofty Dreams on, like, the Flaring Cinder, I suppose. Certainly could have done that. Whoa. Prideful Feastling. Let me think about how I want to block here. 2 cards. 3 damage. I can do like this. I mean, I guess I can do like this. Okay. This is not a card I expect too many people to play. And somehow they kept my Mentor alive. Okay, fair enough. I mean, the thing is, it's kind of hard to just, like, let the Feastling just deal a bunch of damage to me, right? Fortunately, they haven't drawn any cards yet. I guess I have to play the Mountain so that I can double activate with the Flame Chain Mauler. Glamourmite, okay. I mean, tricky spot. I mean, we need to find more action here. We need them to, like, kind of miss for a little bit. Okay, I guess we take 7. Nope, they drew another action spell. All right, this is a big draw here. We've drawn a little too many lands. Oof. All right, 12 lands. 12 lands and 8 spells. That's not a good mix. No, 8 spells, 8 spells. All right, well, we have to hold back, obviously. I'm in no position to attack here. Yeah, I mean, it's not like, I mean, obviously this was a good start, but like, you know, our opponent, it's like a fine deck. It's just we need to get something going. Part of why I'm playing blue-red is because this deck has the ability to dig and find more cards, right? That's why I'm playing this color combination. Okay. Well.
Danger surrounds us. Stay close.
Okay.
It will harm no one.
Yeah, I mean, a Johnny's a Magic the Gathering card. All right. Not going to win from this board. We're at too low a life total. There's an Ajani in play. There's no way for me to actually get it off the battlefield. So, 1-1. Let's keep going. All right, on the play here, 2 mountains with a Tweeze. I'm going to keep this because I have Champions of the Shoal, the best card in my deck, with some Merfolk, and all I need to find is a 3rd land to be able to find the Tweeze, which can presumably help me find land number 4. Obviously, if I just draw like... Ooh, that was... Actually, Swamp was great. I can cast the Sneakling. A little-known side benefit of going black instead of green, which, admittedly, I didn't even consider. And you can't fault me for not considering that, right? Let's get the Sneakling going. Island here would be great. Box Slither's Embrace is the draw. Do I want to tweeze this? I mean, the thing is, I wanted to fire off the tweeze no matter what. And I'll feel pretty bad if their 3-drop is like a random 4 toughness creature. So I played the tweeze just to try to hit a blue source, honestly. And we did. This is great. They have a Burden Stoneback with 5 cards. Just thinking here. Alright, we'll attack. Great. Alright, Champions of the Shoal online. Champions of the Shoal offline. I guess they're going to look to grow it here. Okay, let's go Nuisance into Sky Swimmer. Blossombind is a really good answer for the champions. That was, I mean, a 2-for-1 basically. Let's just hope they don't have a way to kill my Nuisance, and they don't, which is great. Okay, 2 here. Wow, that's another Marrow Sky Swimmer. Draw 2 cards. If we find a land, we can play another Sky Swimmer. Okay, great. I mean, we have a plan here, right? Just go to the skies. Nuisance, double Sky Swimmer, found some cards. We got a Blight Rot to play as well for another creature. We're winning the life total race. Don't hate my spot here. It's a lot of Wanderwine distractors. I can kill this and just like make a huge attack. And I will do that. Especially because we have the Mentor here to just have more blockers. I think that's better than playing out the Flaring Cinder. So now we have 3 lethal attackers on the left. If they kill one of my flyers, they still die. If they play a flyer, they still die. So certainly do not mind this spot. 2 cards in hand for the opponent. I don't know if there's like a Pyroclasm effect. That would be very bad for me, for sure. And this is certainly a spot where I can just jump block. Let's see what they do. It has to be like a sweeper effect of some kind, right? Oh, yeah? Yeah, I guess that gets it done. Wanderwine Farewell. Sure. Yeah? No, that actually works. How do I want to tap? Okay. Everything is reset. We have tons of blockers. 11-2. I mean, that was about as good as it gets for my opponent to just not die last turn. Now they're at 2, and I still have 3 flyers that can attack. And I have plenty of ground blockers on top of that. I tapped the Mentor just because if they do make a really aggressive attack, I'd rather chump block with the 1/1 tokens, and then this still represents a lethal attack because it's got 2 power. And I kept the Flaring Cinder untapped because it has 3 power specifically, which does allow it to potentially trade with one of their creatures. But we'll see. All right, Unexpected Assistance. They're digging here. Really unlikely for them to be able to come back from this spot. And there we go. Win number 2. All right, well, playing for some gems. And, you know, that was a nice, smooth draw. Like I said, I think this deck is solid. It's one of the, like, if you give me this deck, I'd be like, yeah, could probably get your gems back if you draw decently. That's like, that would be my prediction. But, you know, anything can happen in sealed deck, and that was certainly a pretty good draw. Or it really developed, rather. We kept somewhat of a risky hand, actually. All right, 2 islands in a swamp. We have Blight Rot, Sky Swimmer, Unexpected Assistance, Blue-Black. That's unusual. Do they have Nameless Inversion? I'm trying to figure out what they can have off of that. It's probably a Sneakling. I would not like to see a Sneak. Oh, they don't have a Sneakling. Okay. Kolrath Mystic, sure. The Evolving Wilds. Alright, well, we'll play the Wayfinder here. Let's get a Mountain. And then next turn we can play the Guildweaver. We're curving out with very low power creatures. But that'll all change. Oh, that is a Sanar. Never mind. Plans for next turn have been shifted significantly. We will Blight Rot this thing. Play Evolving Wilds. Attack for 1. Alright, so just blue-black, a good card. Stratosaur. Whew. I mean, this Kolrath Mystic is doing a lot of damage, and I don't have a way to kill the Stratosaur. Do I have any double red cards? Let's take a look. I might want to just get another island here. I have 2 mountains in my hand anyways. Alright, let's do this. And now I have to figure out what I want to do. If I play this, 1, 2, 3, 4... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can play Guildweaver plus Sky Swimmer. I can also play Flaring Cinder plus Sky Swimmer. I think I like Flaring Cinder plus Sky Swimmer. What is happening here? Why am I frozen? Why am I frozen? I'm trying to cast this card! I think that was an internet issue, and this is obviously going to be extremely sad. Which means I just need to play faster, because I can't let this happen. And if I skip my turn, then it's a total disaster. Yeah, I skipped my turn. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. This brings me so much joy. Losing a game like this. I mean, what can you do? You know what I mean? No, not like that. Son of a... Okay. I needed to keep up Swamp. Yeah, this is all kinds of disaster. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, let's try to recover from this. I hate what happened, but there's not much I can do. Four cards in hand in opponent for my opponent. I need you to stop playing big things. This Kolrath Mystic has done lots of work. I mean, I at least got to cast a spell, but in my tilted state, I did not leave up a black mana and think about the possibility of casting Nameless Inversion, which cost me a lot. Like, that was probably... It wasn't the fact that my internet blipped there. It was the fact that I didn't leave up black mana for Nameless Inversion, which cost me a huge amount of tempo, because this turn... Had I had the mana to Nameless Inversion this, I could have just gone with Box Slither's Embrace on the Stratosaur, and I'd be in a much, much better spot, right? Like, our hand is fantastic. All right, choose blockers, 3, 4, 5. You know what? I'm just going to take it. Let's just be careful with our life total. I just don't have any great blocks here. Given how long they took on their turn, you have to assume that they have a lot of interaction here. Sure. All right, Rhymekin Recluse is definitely a nice one here. Just to get some of the tempo back. I'm going to bounce the Mystic. Oh, wait, hold on. I could also bounce the Prodigy, but that doesn't actually deal 3 damage to something. I'm just going to do this. All right, 5 cards in hand for the opponent. I still have a flyer to block if they have a Stratosaur. I still have 2 blockers available, so they need double removal spell. And of course, I just want to get things going on my side too, so I think this is okay. This is still a little bit rough just because I know I should probably be pretty far ahead, but we're going to try our best, right? Okay. Starblade Scout and Kolrath Mist. Oh, Tome Skimmer. Sure. Okay. Okay. So certainly we want to kill the flyer. Let's go 1 in the air. Play the What is my mouse is like dying on me too. My computer is just falling apart, folks. All right, we got a 4-3 in play, which is pretty good against their board. Life totals are 14-2. But I think we are stabilized, but at 2 life, right? So, still not great. Stalactite Dagger, sure. Okay, Mischievous Sneakling. And now I can either choose to double block here, or just trade with a Flamekin Guildweaver. That Stalactite's actually kind of annoying. Okay. Whoa! Champions of the Shoal is insane here. Wow. So we can tap down the Mystic, I guess. And exile the Sky Swimmer. Tap you down. 14-2 are the life totals. An attack. And then we can keep up Tweeze/Sneakling, which is also great. I don't want to activate the Nuisance yet. I still just want to make sure that I have access to just a bunch of mana, so... Yes! Oh my gosh, man. That was stressful. Just because of what happened with me just literally skipping by my turn with my internet. Man, I've been having internet issues with my I've been having computer issues with my sound, internet issues. It's like the world is telling me to stop doing this, you know? But you know what? I'm going to keep trucking. I'm going to keep fighting. Let's keep going. We got some gems. That's a good place to be, of course. All right, opponent on the play here. We have 4 lands, but we have a 2, 3, and a 4. We have the Champions of the Shoal. And we have the Gravel Guild Scoundrel. We actually, we drew Nameless Inversion. So even if they kill the Scoundrel, I can champion that, which is fine. Just how we drew it up, right? Obviously, we can't block because they can pump this. Changeling Wayfinder, sure. I mean, they have to see the Tweeze coming, but... I don't think they're going to pump. That just seems pretty bad if they did. I think they just let this happen, honestly. Okay. If they have Glamour Gifter, they trade, so that's fine too. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of brutal if they did, like, if they had a 4-drop this turn, you know what I mean? Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. I'm going to play the Travelers first. Just because, like, if they have a removal spell, I think this is a better card. And they don't have anything I want to lock down for a turn anyways. Obviously, they could have, like, a Tweeze for this or something. Also, since I don't have a black mana, a black source, do I just exile Nameless Inversion? Flaring Cinder wouldn't be a terrible draw. Explosive Prodigy would be pretty cool. They just straight up passed. Okay. Sure. Did they have that Glen Elendra spell? No, Endblaze Epiphany, sure. Okay. Oh, that's a Sunderflock. Wow. Can they play it next turn? That's a good card. So they went Endblaze Epiphany into Sunderflock? That's kind of crazy. Okay. Fair enough. I guess my opponent... Maybe they don't have a land and it's kind of risky, right? Because, like, you need to have land number 6 to be able to Sunderflock next turn. Okay, never mind. It would be hilarious if they just didn't have a land. But they do. Alright, so we're going to lock that down with Champions of the Shoal, and, you know, that'll be our game plan. Tap you down, and play Gravelgill Scoundrel. Yeah, I mean, this might be the end of the road. We have certainly run into a deck with some haymakers. They got 5 cards in hand. It's, I mean, of course, it's just a matter of, like, do they have an answer for Champions of the Shoal? Stay tuned and find out. Okay, well, they do. And I don't think I have a way to, like, blink this thing. So, yeah, this is tough. They have a really, really good Elementals deck here. Rummage away lands. That's another land. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. Look, I mean, at least look. Like, we are still doing things, right? We're with the Flaring Cinders. They're helping us throw away some of these lands along with the Tweezes. And this is why I wanted to go blue-red. We don't have a card like Sunderflock in our deck. And yeah, our opponent's deck is, you know, just a significantly better Elementals deck. I guess we're like Elementals Merfolk, but we drew a Tweeze. So I did this because I feel like the only way I can win is blocking Sunderflock and then tweezing it. Right? I mean, I'm going to take a crap load of damage this turn, but I mean, what other lines do I have, right? Like, it's just a 5/5 flyer that's really hard to deal with. Oof. Scattered, I hope you get a box. Now, Rhyme Chill is not so good, I guess. But yeah, they got a solid brew there. Yeah, I mean, if they have, like, more interaction here, it's going to be super tough. Yeah, I mean, we're probably just dead here, right? I mean, this tramples too. Alright. Well, we got Endblaze Epiphanied into Sunderflock, and we lost to an Ajani. It happens. And not all of these runs can go exactly the way that you want. And you know, like, certainly these are lower value events than the events with the collector boxes, but you know what? Like, it's still fun to play in these. We got half of our gems back, which I guess is okay. And all in all, I think we made the most of kind of what was given to us. It's like we had, like, our blue was our best color, right? We have card draw, the double Sky Swimmer, the Nuisance, and then we had Champions of the Shoal, which was sometimes good, but sometimes it just got blossom bound, if you will, which wasn't great. But you know, the Prodigy with some of the elemental stuff was fine too. But we certainly didn't have like enough of the slam dunk bombs to make this really kind of go over the top. But like I said, just a solid deck. It almost looks like like an okay draft deck, and we were able to win 3 matches. And you know, it's like our losses were to, you know, some also really, really good decks. And there was just not much we can do in those instances. That just happens, and that is the nature of the format. But I'm pretty happy with how we built the deck. I do like the decision to go black instead of green. The Nameless Inversion actually ended up mattering. Look, I know this got blossom bound right away, but I mean, if it didn't, right? Like, the fact that I had a Nameless Inversion, very relevant to the Champions of the Shoal and also the Silver Gill Mentor. So really happy with what we did there. We had access to 5 removal spells, lots of ways to kind of go through our deck, the ability to have a nice curve out hand, and okay mana fixing for what we had. So yeah, I think if I were to do this again, this is the build that I would go with. Overall, I like the value that you get from some of the red cards. We got some of the removal. The white just looked a little too weak, right? There just wasn't enough here. You know, honestly, but I thought it was close. If I had like a Merfolk Lord, like the Blue-White Lord, like I probably just go blue-white, but we didn't, right? There was just like no actual typal payoffs outside of Champions of the Shoal and Silver Gill Mentor, but we were able to make it work with our changelings, like the Sizzling Changeling and the Nameless Inversion, and we had just enough, especially with the card draw, to be able to make sure that, you know, we never really actually had an issue with championing these cards or beholding these cards, which of course is really nice. So, you know, like I said, not every single one of my videos I'm going to end away with a box. In this instance, we went 3 and 2, but we got some gems back, right? Like I said, there were plenty of runs, especially in this format, where I opened the pool and I go, oh, I'm not going to win any matches. And I was right. I would go 0-2. I would go 1-2 because, you know, it's like, do you have the tribal payoffs, right? Do you have decent mana fixing? Do you have the right number of changelings to make sure that you're supporting the payoffs that you have, like Champions of the Shoal? And if the answer is no to some of those questions, you're just going to be in a tough spot. Of course, do you have bombs? There's a lot of questions like that for sure. And like, you know, some of these rares were obviously just not great cards to have. Like Catharsis is just not a card you should play in your blue-red deck, in my opinion. You have to be red-white. If you're red-white, the card is good. But if not, then you just shouldn't play this card. Keyroll, I didn't play just because it was double red. If I was red-white again, it's easy to cast, then I'd play it. Obviously, there's some upside with this card, but I think it's not worth the difficulty in actually casting that spell. So yeah, all in all, reasonably happy. Maybe I should play a counterspell in Sealed. I don't know. This is also kind of hard to cast, but, you know, just to be able to deal with bombs. But if they play it, they play it. You just hope to dodge it. We couldn't, and we got some gems back. All right, anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more daily videos just like this. If you've enjoyed this content and want to support the channel in another way, my Patreon is the best way to do so. That's patreon.com/paulcheon. Also, check out TCGplayer.com for all your Magic the Gathering singles and sealed product needs. If you want to buy some booster boxes of Magic the Gathering product, or you wanted some singles for your standard, modern, pioneer, or commander decks, check out TCGplayer.com and make sure you hit that affiliate link in the description below before making any purchases. Last but not least, go to heavyplay.com for all your Magic the Gathering supplies and accessories needs. They are your one-stop shop for top-of-the-line deck boxes, playmats, sleeves, dice boxes, life pads, and much, much more. Go to heavyplay.com/paulcheon for 10% off your first order. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.